you'll see that your life will just dramatically change. And now you're building a life around what really matters to your soul.
We all communicate with nature. It's a part of us. It's part of what we're meant to do.
Good morning, Spirit Sessions viewers. And if you just happened upon us today, stay with us. We've got a great guest, and we'd like you to like this and share this out. If you're on YouTube, comment, let us know you're there. We love seeing our YouTube viewers hop on. And remember, you can catch us also later in the week on veryparanormal.com. Please like and share this out and bring your friends in. We're going to have a great time today. We have a wonderful guest with us, and whoever shares out the most this week will win a session with Teresa. So please stay tuned, and Bex will tell you who won last week's share out. And Teresa, why don't you introduce us to our friend Matthew?
All right. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Matthew because at Spirit Sessions, we get to meet the neatest people. We get to feel these amazing energies. And Matthew is no different. He is got this amazing energy and this empathic love for what is around him, and the way that the attention to the details and the love. He's a happiness shaman. I mean, there's so much to learn. And then I just realized when you were talking about it this morning, the dragon energy, I wasn't even thinking about that. And I'm so excited to find a fellow dragon out there. Woo, woo, woo. So Matthew, tell us about yourself. And I want everyone to feel your beautiful energy.
Oh, thank you so much for that wonderful intro. And thank you, everyone, for having me on. I love doing outreach like this so people can just get inspiration for their own lives and just be inspired to be who they are in this one moment. So yes, welcome everybody. I am Matthew-Embrey McLean, the Shamanic Happiness Coach. I am here to help everybody realize what they're here to do. Being a happiness coach, I am here in this space to coach you into letting go of your old past self or any wounds that you have, and also providing you with the energetic support to do that as well. Generally, a shaman is somebody who witnesses the unseen and the seen world and kind of translates that, or is a liaison for that. So whatever's going on in your life, a shaman is a really good person or a resource to tap into, because sometimes when we're in the stuff, we don't see the stuff. And the shaman can go, oh, okay, this is what's going on. Even if there's this huge story in front of your face, there's this little detail that we can go into and try to illuminate that to bring you through your block or whatever it would be. And for those who don't know, a shaman is somebody who is liaison between the unseen and the seen. But the term shaman nowadays, I like to redefine and also educate about the sacredness of it, because it's basically just somebody who is like a medicine person, somebody who wields some type of medicine, and you're called to this path of, let's say, communal uplifting or collective uplifting. A shaman is somebody who has the community's best interest at heart, and so whatever they do is in alignment with that for the greatest and highest good. And generally, yes, shamans, the name shaman comes from Siberia, but we can look at any medicine person across the world. And now the newer term to identify, let's just say the team of beings that are on this planet to help us all come together, we can collectively call shamans, basically. So you probably are a shaman if you have that kind of thing going on. It's just great to have the training because it is an interesting existence.
Totally fascinating. I remember when we met you, there were so many topics that we could talk to you on. And so I know that anybody that comes to you, you've got their backs, you've got exactly what they need to support. So what is it about evolving into this new paradigm? We hear about it in different ways, and we definitely know we are coming out of an old system. Mm-hmm. What's next? How do we do this with ease and grace?
Oh, thank you for bringing in ease and grace. One of my big mantras is kind, easy, gentle, good. And I love it. I heard it from Michael Sandler off of Inspire Nation. And I'm like, we're not recreating the wheel here. We are just continuing with it. We are flowing with it. And the kind, easy, gentle, good, that mantra is like anytime you're going through struggle, that's where I want to bring you. So if we're in catastrophe or anything, I'm going to come in and bring perspective to like what life we're creating and what it's here to teach us. In this new paradigm, we're going out of all these old ways of separation. So anything that delineates a separation between you and me, and that could be the way the economy works. This could be the way friendships work. This could be the way we have our jobs or what we think is a job in our life. All of those things. Upgrading it into this new paradigm basically means that we're letting go of the lower vibrational frequencies or the lower vibrational behaviors that keep us in that separate state, that keep us in that lack state, thinking that we that abundance is not for everyone, so to speak. Like we can't provide for everyone. So going into this new paradigm, it is our job basically to go boldly forward into whatever we are here to do. So whatever our life experiences in this moment are calling us to do is extremely important to pay attention to. Yeah. Whatever you're working through pushes you forward. Yeah,
I love that. I thought like something that had come up for me, I think in the past year with all the chaos and tumultuous stuff that was going on was I am so tired of learning my lessons the hard way. I'm so tired of having to go through such obstacles to learn. So I was really calling in to be able to evolve and grow. Like I released the need to learn them in a hard way, but to accept evolving and growth with gentle grace and ease. So I thought that was a cool way to be able to shift that. And definitely that goes along with bringing this new paradigm energy, because we need to let go of that idea that we have to go through hell to learn, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the greatest things that I love about this new paradigm is that we're understanding really what it means to be in the moment. And via that, I guess, for people who may be new to the subject, it's when you're living in the moment, it's actually going to be your happiest self, your happiest incarnation, your most creative, your most joyous incarnation, because we aren't allowing the baggage or the expressions of the past to dictate who we are. And if we do that, then we're living in the past. We're living in that old paradigm. And that also goes with like worrying about the future. If we're not in the now, then we can't stay within this expanding container that we're and create what we were called to create. So as you're going through and playing, and the universe is playing whack-a-mole with you, when you're trying to learn all your hard lessons and things like that, I always go, okay, let's just stop. We don't have to do this. And that's actually one of the number one things I would tackle in a session is, okay, why do we think we have to do these the hard way? And then we would unravel that, because again, the story that we're in oftentimes isn't really, let's say the narration of what's being presented is often more of a mystery than what's actually being presented. And as you said, like, oh, I'm going through this lesson the hard way. Maybe your lesson has nothing to do with anything else but getting you to learn that you don't have to do this the hard way.
Oh, I love that.
And that's an interesting thing. Yeah, and that's an interesting thing to go about, because then it's like, wait, why am I such a victim of my life? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's usually the number one thing I work on, is just to pull people out of that, like the just like stuck in perspective. To like illuminate it.
I always like comparing that to people. You don't sweep your floors anymore. You use the vacuum because it's so much easier. Why would you do this the hard way? When there's like, you can just do it that way. It doesn't get the house any cleaner, you know, if you use the vacuum, or maybe it does. Maybe doing it the easy way and the fast way is the best way, because you don't expend energy uselessly, so you can do more things and have more.
And I love how you brought up the fast way too. In this new paradigm, we're all being asked to wake up super quick, and to do that, the best way to do that really is to let go of the past, is to do forgiveness, realize your own power and what you were here to do. And that's actually the easy way. The hard way is continuously playing through the muck and going like, oh, I guess I have to learn another lesson. And a lot of this too, when we're here to do something, internally we may have this perception that the universe or the world is going to show me what I'm here to do, but your life and your inspirations are the only thing that's going to do that. So it's naturally, a lot of times in session, I will say, like, what is, like for me, I guess, excuse me, what is Matthew here to produce in this world? Not what the world is asking of Matthew. And that's a different, like, if we think about that, like, what are you actually here to do? What is this creation that you're bringing forth? Nobody's going to ask you to do it. The universe isn't going to tap on your shoulder and be like, hey, it's time to wake up now. That's whack-a-mole season. That's what whack-a-mole is. The other way is like, oh, I am here as this beautiful creation that helps to uplift everybody in the world. And as I live my authentic self, that becomes a light and a mirror for everybody else in the darkness. And it's like, I just heard this beautiful analogy. A lot of us, we only get, let's say, we only reach out to people sometimes when we're in catastrophe or struggle. And a lot of us might get annoyed about that, like thinking that I need to have better friends that reach out to me all the time. But if somebody's reaching out to you and they're in darkness, that means you're their light.
Yeah.
You don't care why somebody reaches out to you. The story behind that is like whatever you make of it is irrelevant. The fact that they're reaching out to you is the big picture. And so it's like, oh, how can I show up right now for my fellow person, regardless of what their relationship is with me? Yeah, it requires a lot of forgiveness, even if that person, how should I say, sometimes that could be like your dysregulating manager at work. Kind of a thing. And no matter what they're saying, they're probably asking for something different. And I guess the other day, and I actually would love to offer this to you guys, is this meditation I did last Friday for my group. It was beautiful to be like, okay, yes, there's messages and traumas that come to our life, like situations and events that dysregulate us. But what happens if you translate that and you take out every other word that they were saying and just replace it with "I love you"? It brings this perspective that anytime that we're communicating to one another, the real goal is this connection, like I want to be in the same frequency as you and vibe with you, right? But if we're angry at ourselves or another person, the best way we can do that is to express in maybe a dysregulated form. And then when you look at that, you go, wow, that's the best way they know how to say I love you in this moment.
Yeah. And they need you.
Yeah. And so
regarding my conversations with my teenagers.
Oh yeah, sure.
Big
Just my conversation I had this morning. Yeah, for sure.
There you go. You're welcome.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. No, but there's something I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned, finding our purpose. And I know that that's something that, a lot of us are waking up to, but it's still, some people feel like it's just so out of reach. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? They get caught in the trap of trying to find it, and I find that more and more is coming into my awareness about how we need to stop chasing our purpose or searching for it, and just accept that our purpose is following our joy, and then it will come. What do you have to say about that?
That's perfect. A lot of my work is exactly what you've just described, is understanding like your purpose is this moment. And if that moment is, if you're called to produce something, that's your purpose in this moment. When we get lost searching for our purpose, it's because we've adopted the ideas or standards of society as a whole, or these projections, these shadow projections from one another or society or cultures and things. And we're like, this is how I'm supposed to be. And that's a box, right? That's a limiting area. And how do you find your purpose inside this limiting area when your purpose is outside of the limiting area? Anytime basically we go against reality, we suffer. Anytime we try to create a story that's not within the truth of what reality is, we will suffer. And so trying to find like your purpose means letting go of the perceptions and judgments and expectations of who you think yourself to be and who you think where you're going, because nobody else can tell you that except for you. And like where you're drawn to be creative, where you're drawn to contribute to the world. That's again where I said, it's not the world tapping you on the shoulder, it's the inner you asking to be set free. And you can't be set inside of a tiny little box. So this idea, like, so many people have this idea about like what type of relationship I'm supposed to be in, what type of abundance I'm supposed to be in. And I do a workshop every year to really tell people or educate people on what it means to be abundant. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. I have seen the most spiritual and abundant people like in their moment when doing things that we would consider or that society would consider to be lower or less than, so to speak. And when I watch certain people, especially even like, I would say, let's just say a destitute person or somebody who's just living off the land, communing with nature or like just being within the group of friends and stuff, I'm like, wow, they are so in their power right now, doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And when they have this life that's free of having to, let's just say, the expectation of earning, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, like that frees you up to a lot of stuff. And so it really understands that our society that we've created is an old paradigm that doesn't allow for all of us to exist on this equal playing field. And so when you talk about like, what am I here to do? What is my purpose? First, let's get rid of those negative things that keep you held back, those expectations. If we think that we're supposed to be, I'll just use like the famous example, I guess, a doctor, a lawyer, or a stockbroker, like these huge ones that are automatically going to, so to speak, guarantee you a successful life. But what if like your purpose in life has nothing to do with money?
Yes.
Maybe your existence is something more akin, I'm not just example, akin to something like what Gandhi did, right? Like living completely almost on nothing, but yet having such a full and abundant life with friends and people and conversations and meaning. That is the real value of life, is to connect. It has nothing to do with like gaining an idea of a finite resource. If we even, how do I say this? If we even project that I'm supposed to make a certain amount, then automatically we buy into the fact that it's a limited amount.
Yeah.
We buy into it and we're like, oh, okay, so if there's only this small portion of the pie for me to get, then I guess I just have to scramble and do everything I need to do to get it. And I'm like, wait a minute, why don't you just start scrambling to your purpose and what you're here to do? Because what you're here to do will inspire others to do an energy exchange with you. Money is just an energy exchange. And if you are supposed to be a brokerage of energy, then why would I keep this energy? Once I get it, because I'm in this abundance mode, I'm going to let it flow out. And it's just going to keep going and going everywhere. Right? So a lot of what we have to do in life is understand energy management. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
I love that. That's perfect. It's a good way to look at it too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love that.
There's so much to talk about. So yeah.
So do you want to share that meditation with us and maybe bring us into that space? That would be
if we're ready to.
Sure. I think it's a good time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sure, cool. Depending, because I'm not sure where we're broadcasting this specifically, and I'm assuming it would hit Facebook at some point.
It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, and it'll be other places. It's around the world.
Because of that, we're not going to do background music. I'm going to create my own for you, because Facebook has that wonderful algorithm that will just beautiful sound.
Definitely,
yes. I hate that. So, what am I being called to bring in? My bell. I'm hearing a note from my drum. Sorry, my drum's back here. See it right there. I was like, am I going to use this? And the answer is actually no. I'm going to use my bell for the transition period.
Okay.
Let's see. Just put this on the surface where it's not going to reverberate too much. Is that too low?
I hear it's beautiful.
I love it.
Perfect.
And we'll mute our microphones, so it'll all just be you.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. So for this meditation, I invite everyone to come into a meditative state. And that just means, reduce your visual stimulus and just start to breathe in and out of your nose. And just the tip of the nose right here. I'm going to have my eyes open so that I can dictate a little bit and see where the bowl is, but I invite you to have your eyes closed and just breathe. Bringing your body within, bringing all of your awareness within. Good. Feeling how supported you are on whatever you are sitting or laying on. Feeling more like a mountain than this biological form that you inhabit. And maybe your shoulders are peaks and your head is the biggest peak. And you can just envision this circulation of air and wind as the air that you're breathing. So you can just envision that flowing around you. You are solid and grounded. Good. And now, let's deepen our awareness and feel what it's like to breathe with the body, taking full body breaths. Breathing and just diving into the sensations of the movement of the chest, the shoulders, the diaphragm. What does it feel like for your body to move as you breathe? And filling your lungs from the bottom up, just like a glass of water. Good. Deepening our awareness now. Let us perceive the tiny minuscule movements of clothing, jewelry, or hair that we possess on our bodies as we breathe. These tiny minuscule movements that are there every moment of the day, but we always ignore them. See if you can even feel your socks moving. Mm-hmm. Just becoming awareness. Deepening our awareness now. Let us feel what it's like to have the temperature of the room interact with different parts of our body, from the crown of our head all the way down to our tippy toes. Noticing that the experience might be different from one part to the next, but it's perfectly okay. And now let's deepen our awareness and move it to the sounds that are within the room and without the room. Looking for the space in which we're free of judging sound. Looking for the space that's in between sound, where one note can last for an eternity. Yet from one moment to the next, it's an infinitesimally small second. All sound is just sound, whether it be a high note or a low note, or a long note, or a short note. Good. And going even deeper now, let's go ahead and come to the very bottom of our breath, breathing all the way out, then breathing in for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then out, 3, 2, and 1. In, 2, 3, and 4, out, 3, 2, and 1. In, 2, 3, and 4, out, 3, 2, and 1. In, 2, 3, and 4, out, 3, 2, and 1. Continuing the same breath, or one that is more comfortable to you. Let's go ahead and visualize a light that shines from above the crown of our head. And this light is filled with the qualities of love and relaxation. What does it feel like for the qualities of love and relaxation to shine down upon you and bend around every single part of your form, touching and tickling every single part of your skin? Going even deeper now. Let's allow this light of love and relaxation to come in through our body in this beautiful, safe container. And as we do so, let us just track these sensations with our awareness. And so as this light comes in through the crown of your head, you can feel your hair relaxing. Your scalp relaxes. Your temples lose all of their tension. And your mind just begins to quiet. As this light moves down, you can notice that your eyes are just resting peacefully in their sockets, and your cheeks and jaw unclench. Mm-hmm. And just feel. As the light of love and relaxation reaches the bottom of your skull, notice it moves into your neck space, where it pays particular attention to any inflammation, any stiffness or soreness, and it helps to replace it with flexibility, mobility, and stability. And just feel. On your next big inhale, notice how this light of love and relaxation comes into your shoulder space, and it asks all of the muscles of your entire body just to hang on your skeleton, just as if they were clothing on a clothing hanger. And just feel. On your next breath, this light moves down your arms, past your elbows, into your forearms, through your wrists, and into your hands and fingertips. And just feel. Maybe you can sense your heartbeat all the way down there. On your next big breath, this light enters into your chest space and your upper back, where it works to remove any inflammation that is around your shoulder blades, helping to correct your posture and support you. And noticing as this light dances around your lungs and your heart, that your heart rate calms down and begins to operate in coherence with the rest of your magnetic field. And as this light dances within your lungs, you notice that you can exchange oxygen just a little bit better, more efficiently. On our next big breath, this light moves down into the abdomen and lower back. And along the way, it pays particular attention to every one of your vertebrae. Once again, removing any inflammation, stiffness, or soreness to be replaced with flexibility, mobility, and stability. And just feel. Feel as the light of love and relaxation dances around all of your organs, waking them up, asking them to function a little bit more efficiently so that we may gain nutrients, filter toxins, increase our awareness within our body, and also our intuition. On our next big breath, this light enters into our pelvic space, where it helps us to walk in a balanced fashion with Aini in this world. Then this light transitions into our quads and hamstrings, through the knees and into the shins and calves, through the ankles, into the feet, into the toes. And just feel. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat all the way down there. Feel as this light of love and relaxation becomes infinitely dense within you, melding with every single cell of your body. All of your skin, all of your hair and nails, all of your fat, all of your muscle, all of your connective tissue and fascial tissue, all of your nerves, organs, all of your veins, all of your blood and bones. And just feel as the light of love and relaxation moves free anything that is for your greatest and highest good to let go of in this moment, so that you can be present within this one moment, within every moment to the next. And at this point, I invite you to establish a grounding cord. And that's just a beautiful cord that goes from your coccyx, your tailbone, all the way down to the very center of the earth. And it can look however you please, whether it be roots, rope, light, or a chain. And make this grounding cord as wide as your body. And any visions, sensations, mental patterns that are coming up for us right now, those are being asked to be set free, whether they be good or dysregulating, to make room for what is to come in, to allow you to be in this moment. And so you can send those things just down the grounding cord to the very center of the earth, to be used later by a different entity, in a different form, during a different time, for a different purpose. On our next big breath, in the mind's eye, let us go ahead and raise our vibration even higher to the form of gratitude and extending love. And so let's just witness ourselves playing, being joyous. And in this moment of witnessing ourselves being joyous and creative, internally, let's continue a dialogue that says, I love you. Looking at our younger self, our adolescent self, our adult self, any event that populates your mind, continuously saying, I love you, as if it was the only thing that could be said, the only 3 words in existence. As you see yourself in your visions, now let's move on to events and circumstances in which there was different dialogue. Events and circumstances that are asking to be healed in this moment. And let us replace all of that dialogue with I love you, from both or all parties. Feeling our heart spaces connect even more. Noticing that we all have the desire to be free of suffering and the causes of suffering, and to experience joy and all the causes of joy. And so as we say, I love you, no matter what is happening within this vision, this is the only transmission that is true. This is the only transmission of the moment that is necessary. Noticing ourselves, perhaps now in a dysregulating moment, a time that is required for us to heal. And as we say, I love you, noticing that any other words that were said was the best that we could do to express how we love in this moment. And we can witness the distance that that person is having to go, or that you are having to go to say, I love you. And so perhaps in the past there was this dysregulating argument, and you can replace all of those words with just, I love you. And you can see the natural expression, this truest expression. For we all go through dysregulating moments. We all feel less than, and we all want to feel whole. We all want to feel connected and loved. And so just holding this space, this beautiful container for this individual to tell us how much they love us. And for us to respond in kind, to tell them how much we love them. And in this moment, I invite you to think back to any other dialogue, any other communication that you've ever had, or that you will have, and replace all of those words with I love you. What if we were able to step out of any moment of victimhood or smallness or hurt, and instead of communicating with other words, we would immediately respond with I love you, to break down that barrier of disconnection, of confusion. And in that moment, when we say I love you, our heart space illuminates, connects to that of the other person, that to every single person in this world, knowing we are all here for our greatest and highest good, guiding us back to truth in every moment. The truth of I am love. I am here to give love and receive love freely. And now let's do the most monumental and courageous thing possible. Let us say to an individual, I love you, in which we think it is impossible to say those words. I love you. Through all of the anger, through all of the resentment, through all of the shame or guilt, no matter what it is, no matter what has transpired. And you can just feel whatever dis-ease has been holding us back and from this one exchange, or our inability to exchange this I love you, begins to just slough away, begins to evaporate from us. This cord that's holding us back, this baggage that we're bringing from one moment to the next, just evaporates, gets lost at the airline, so to speak, never to come back to us. And let us go ahead and once again say, I love you. And envision every single being of this world, the two-legged, the four-legged, the finned, the furred, the winged ones, the cutie crawlers, every relation that we have ever come across, only communicating I love you and receiving I love you back. And taking a big breath, coming to the very bottom of our breath, breathing all the way out. Breathing in, I am love. Breathing out, I am love. Breathing in, I am love. Breathing out, I am love. Breathing in, I am love. And breathing out, I am love. Breathing in, I am love. And breathing out, I am love. Feeling back into sound, the space between sound. Coming back into the space of feeling temperature. Feeling the tiny minuscule movements of clothing, jewelry, or hair that we possess on our body. Whenever you're ready, coming back into space and twinkling your eyes up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's such a powerful meditation. And I I was guided to share that one today as a proxy of last Friday when I led group. And I couldn't believe that in the meditation, I was like at the kind of in the very end, like, what's next? What else are we going to say? And it came in to say, I love you to the one that you think you can't say I love you to. Courage and like internal shifting you could feel when I did it. I immediately was like, oh, whoa. And I could feel those tingles. And that is actually the ingrained programming of this traumatic event in your tissues being set free. Those tingles and that movement, those belly feels, maybe the emotional feels, that is literally what is coming to be set free. Because as we, the things that define us to exist in the past, because we know that emotions are actually chemicals that our brain produces from the outward stimulus, then we understand, and because chemicals are made up of atoms, and atoms have electrons in a nucleus, we understand that atoms and electrons are energy. And so as energy forms and becomes solid and dense, it transforms into these chemicals that tell us that we are supposed to experience an emotion. And from that, when it becomes a familiar emotion, our body wishes to not expend a lot of energy to experience that emotion. So it creates programming that becomes stuck in our tissues that tells us that this is who we are and how we have to manifest ourselves. And this is through any traumatic or enlightening experience. And so as we work through these traumatic experiences, we activate that feeling again. And those same chemicals may arise, but we can understand that we are not our stories. We are in this moment, we are safe, we are loved. And so as we are presenting this container for these experiences to be relived, they're coming up into this vibrational frequency of love and gratitude. And instead of the vibrational frequency that they were created with, those shame, guilt, anger, whatever it would be. And because those vibrations are what was stuck in the tissue, and as it's being revealed again, especially when it's super difficult, when you're asked to say I love you to the one that you cannot say I love you to, holy moly, it brings up all of those things and you're bathing them in this frequency of love, and then they become re-ingrained into your tissues. And so now you are powerful, you are superhuman, and you can go forward at every moment and say I love you to anybody and anything, all of your relations.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
And you
Wow.
don't whack-a-mole anymore. Look at that.
Yeah, no more whack-a-mole. I love what Nancy said about, she said so beautiful and felt that healing through present and past family timelines. So appreciated. I definitely was relating to that and feeling it going through the ancestral lines, you know?
Me too.
So powerful. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And I love that you just said that, because a lot of us are like, what am I here to do? And maybe it is to work on our ancestral timeline, because whatever state and internal environment that I was in, when I, let's say, had offspring or created another life, that same internal environment was translated for them. And so they are carrying that same energy. And so as I heal, it actually transfers into the healing to the next person down the line, right? And so if I'm here to do ancestry work, holy moly, that's huge. That means that I'm freeing all of my future relations from having to deal with this baggage. It just gets lost in the airline and I don't need to find it again, right?
That's
It just
right.
goes to donation, it goes to Mother Earth, and it just gets to reused to whoever needs it, right? Yeah.
So sweet. That's awesome. And when we heal our ancestral line, because time is all happening now, we heal them in real time for them.
Yes.
It's really kind of get your head around that. You're actually helping them, and that helps you forward. It's all a big circle, and it's kind of cool.
It's such a beautiful circle, and I love how you bring in, time is like, we think time is linear, but it's not. It's completely like, depending on, of course, what kind of vibration you're in. If you're in a lower vibration, time, it feels linear to you. When you're in a higher vibration, it feels expanded or all-encompassing. And that has to do with, we're entering into that quantum realm of existence where all possibilities and all events happen in this moment. And so as we continuously vibrate with that frequency of love, we can attract continuously with whatever we project as love, right? So it's beautiful, and we can have anything happen. Yeah.
That is so super. We could talk to you all day,
Yes.
but we
Yes.
can't. So tell us what's going on with you,
Sure.
and what you're offering to people right now, so they can get on board the Matthew train.
Sure. Yeah. You can reach out to me to schedule sessions. I do Zoom sessions or private sessions. And of course we follow, all safety guidelines and everything of that nature. Super easy over Zoom. We don't need any PPE for that. But you can reach out to me, and you can just send an email to Matthew@shamanichappinesscoach.com. You can look at my website. Right now, it's totally in a transition. It's being upgraded from 4D to 5D. So it's in that transition period, which comes just wonderfully when you create your own website. It's a lot of fun because it really does get you to define who you are and what you're here to do. And then, so the offerings that I do on Wednesdays, it's kind of a support meditation from 6 to 7. Whoever wants to show up can do that. You can find that on Facebook. And you can find it also from Good Elephant. It's a little company that's kind of like an Airbnb for wellness spaces. So you can just log into Good Elephant, see that I'm doing a Wednesday meditation from 6 to 7, and it's called Compassionate Mindful Meditation and Online Expansion of Our Love. Super easy. It's a prana-pay donation. So you can just show up with whatever and however you're supposed to show up. And then we work in the space of elevating our consciousness and whatever that is. So the container is built around whoever shows up, basically. And then if you're in the Sierra Nevada area, you have the ability to come to Friday meditations with me. And it's basically an 8-series set to teach you to go from zero meditative ability to all the way. I'm huge into teaching how we mix all of these old traditions, or validating how we use these old traditions through scientific methods, so to speak, and how they affect us. And so I'm super glad to be able to do that, especially for somebody who doesn't necessarily want to, let's say, take the red pill, I guess, to go down that hole, right? If you don't want to wake up completely.
We're the pink pill here. We're the pink pill.
Yeah, we're the pink pill. So, we can do that. And then also, if you're in the area, I have a yearly manifestation workshop that I do to help us understand how we create the reality that we have. And future stuff coming up is more online classes to look for. It will be available on our website. But yeah, just reach out to me and we can schedule a one-on-one. I love working with people, and just, you are here to do so many things. And maybe, I just want to help you do that and free you from whatever is holding you back. And a lot of times, like I said, when we're in it, we don't see what's actually wanting to be revealed. And so just through some dialogue, or maybe we do need to do a little bit of journeying, like shamanic journeying work. We can do distance Reiki, of course. I'm Holy Fire Reiki 3. So all of that good stuff. We can do all of that. And if we all want to do the shamanic work, we can. It's not always called for, but it's great to incorporate the unseen helpers, because we don't have to do this alone. Anybody that thinks we are alone in our process, evict that, just get rid of it. Give it that, not even 30-day notice, like 24-hour notice, gone. We're here to do all these things together. And so when we do the shamanic work, we build this relationship with the world around us so that we actually feel more connected. And we feel those helpers come in. Our guides, our spirit angels, and even just one another. Really is amazing how synchronicity opens up when we begin our healing journey. Yeah.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. So Bex, you have a couple more questions for Matthew before he leaves us. And all of Matthew's information is in the description of the video. So please just go and scroll down. You'll find all of the links to his things. And he also has a YouTube page, which I'll put in if it wasn't already there.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. I forgot. I do have a 90-day happiness challenge. I just finished recording it. It was all live, so it's totally just amazing and in the moment and real. So if you are wanting to do a journey, you can join the 90-day happiness challenge. Start from day 1, go to day 90, and really understand happiness is not something that we just eat for breakfast in the morning and then it tries to sustain us. No. It has to do with our internal frame of how we deal from moment to moment, and it's a choice. And it has to do with understanding what type of projections we have in the world and a whole bunch of stuff. So the 90 days, it might seem like it's a lot, but it's really not. It's just dedicating to freeing yourself from the whack-a-mole existence, I guess you could say, and identifying a little bit more with who we are. So utilizing that, I'll find you and I'll interact with you on social media right away, because it'll be tagging me with it, and that way I can kind of guide you. And if you need help with that, you just reach out to me.
Awesome.
So thank you for mentioning that.
Awesome. Very cool. First, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up today and doing this with us. It's been an incredible journey with you, and we definitely will have you back because you're an immense wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And there's so many things that we could talk about with you. We would just love to have you back.
I love it.
So the first question is, if you had to choose a song to be the theme song of your life, what would it be?
The theme song of my life, and it's because I am human and I go through struggles just like everybody else. To think that we're not human means that we're trying to elevate ourselves above some whatever, and we're all the same. We're all really the same. So mine is actually "Dear Me" by Eric Hutchinson. And because every time we might embark on like this journey that we think is just so insurmountable, and the struggles, sometimes we just turn into these huge mountains when they're only meant to be speed bumps or learning curves, right? And so the song "Dear Me" is just so beautiful, and it's uplifting, and it's like, you're going to be older, you're going to move through this, you're going to get above it, whatever the small struggle is. And so just realize your power. Yeah. There's another one, but I love that one a lot.
Yeah, I love that.
Really,
all right.
Anybody who's going through a hard time, listen to that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect. I love that so much. Question number 2, what is your favorite crystal right now, your crystal of the day?
Sure. My favorite crystal, and I'm going to modify that slightly. It's dense. It's not technically a shiny crystal, but is actually this guy right here. And this is one of my little kuyas. Kuyas are just our magic stones that we kind of use to help facilitate transformation, so to speak, for a shaman. And this came to me when I was at Burning Man. And I love Burning Man. And I was walking through the temple one day, and I was actually looking for kuyas at the time. I was like, I know I'm supposed to get one. This part of my journey, I just gotta add this in or change one of them out. And this was in the middle of the temple, and I was like walking through, reading everything that's around the walls, and it's just so beautiful to do your own shadow work in that moment, because it so tells you how connected we are. So I'm doing this, and all of a sudden I can't read anything that's on the walls. I can't read anything at all. Like, there's words, of course, but I'm like, why can't I read right now? This is really weird. So I'm just not comprehending. So I look down, and I get the message to look down, and I see the stone.
Oh, beautiful.
I see this guy, and these little guys are all over the Black Rock Desert. But the cool thing about where the burn happens, the actual temple burn, is that it happens pretty much in the same spot every single year. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, oh my God, you want me to pick you up? And it's like, yes, I'm your kuya. And the magic of that is so much transformation has happened in that one space over years and years and years and years, especially with fire. And this has been through that many burns. So it was not last year because we didn't have it. The year before, this has been through that many burns, and it has to come home. And so I actually left. I create channeled creations sometimes. So you can always ask for a gift from me too, if you want to give a present to yourself or anybody else. It was at the time I was making some wands. One of this beautiful creation that just looked like an amazing tree, and it asked to be left there, and I was like, oh my God, you want me to leave this there? Oh my goodness, and so I did the exchange, and it was just beautiful. Took a lot of courage for me to do that, because I'm like, this is not a crystal, but at the same time, this is such a powerful stone. So anybody, when we're called to work together, if this is the one that's calling to you, you got a lot of work going on, and it's beautiful. And this is like the biggest support. Whatever you're there to release is just going to go and be transformed by fire, whether you think it is or not. It's just beautiful.
That's awesome. So cool. All right, Rhonda, you get to ask the next question, because that is your big question right now.
Yeah, that's my big question. So with all this stuff that's going on, what do you perceive aliens to be? Are they always been here? Are they just here? Are they multidimensional? What do you think? Are there many different kinds? What's your opinion on the aliens, no aliens, it's in our head kind of thing?
Yes and yes.
Yes, it's all in our head, and yes, they're real.
Yeah, so no, it's all of the above, really. The reality that we experience is based on the collective projection of the collective consciousness. And so yes, it all exists because the collective consciousness goes throughout realms and out dimensions. And so we're in the physical 3D world, and there are beings that are all over the place that we just don't perceive. How do I say? and when we think about this, like the levels of perception that we can engage in just within this physical body, we can think about the different modes of communication that are out there that come from other different spirits or entities and things like that. And so the idea of like alien, I wouldn't really say that they're aliens. There are beings that are all of our relations that exist throughout all time, space, and dimensions. And they're all manifestations of the collective agreement that we've all kind of signed up for. So they are us. And so they do exist. And also they don't exist because it's just based on our collective consciousness. So really, like whatever has come into fruition and manifested does exist, even if we can't perceive it or not. And a good example, again, I just love Burning Man. They have so many expansions that you can go through. And I wish this kind of thing was more in line. You might be able to see this at like a Discovery Museum or something, but there's this one art installation that was over 100 meters long, and it was just these gigantic hula hoops basically that you could go and walk in, and they're like huge, like 15 feet across or whatever, and like 13 feet tall or whatever. It's huge, and they're lit up with LEDs, and based on the sound, so the vibration and the intensity that goes through, it lights up with a certain color. And the microphone for this is on both ends, and so it transmits voice or sound into light. And so you can be on one end and not hear what's going on, but you can see it and it comes at you. And so it's amazing to think about like, whoa, there's communication happening all the time. We just don't perceive it. And to be like witnessing like a conversation taking place, or at the time I saw a band being played at the other end of this, and I couldn't really hear them, but you could see this waves of light coming at you. And then you're like, wait a minute, what other communications am I not aware of? Oh my God, there's so many different languages out there. Oh my God, so many other things exist. Holy moly. And so you just can't get beyond the fact that other things do exist. And the way that we perceive them is a journey. And if you don't know about something, obviously you don't have a context to be able to create like a lattice work to understand it. So I encourage everybody to explore all of your empathic abilities and all of your communicative abilities. Just reach beyond. The intuition and the imagination is here for a reason, and it's one of the most powerful things we can do to engage in the unseen. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Matthew. We're going to have to pop off, but before we go, Bex, you have the winner.
I have the announcement. I have the winner. So the winner of last week's Share It Out, who won a session with me, is E.G. Reed Ramirez. So I'll be contacting you. Congratulations. Yeah. Very exciting. If you guys want a chance to win this next week's Share It Out, we'll announce the next week's show. The chance is to win with Teresa. So whoever shares it out the most is the winner. So you guys got to share this out, invite your friends, get this out there. Because what a powerful show we had today. Yeah, if you want to feel more love in your life, this is the show right now. Today, this was it. Like, wow. Thank you so much, Matthew. Really, we appreciate you.
And one other thing, if you haven't had enough of us,
oh yes,
at 1 p.m. we're going to be on the Muses, so go check that out.
In 2 minutes. Just jump on for the Muses in 2 minutes, and you can see us again for another hour. Yay!
And we're pulling cards.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all so much for doing what you do, for helping everybody in this world to evolve and be better manifestations of who they are and who they be. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cool. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.